The wind cuts through your face like a blade. Snow swirls around you as you grip the reins tighter. Your horse's breath creates clouds in the bitter Mongolian air. Behind you, the sound of 10,000 hoofs thunder against the frozen earth. Today, you will either become the greatest Khan in history, or you will die trying. The year is 1206. Your name is Temujin. But soon, very soon, the world will know you by another name. A name that will echo through centuries. A name that will make emperors tremble. Genghis Khan. But this story begins much darker, much bloodier, and much more broken than you could ever imagine. Picture this. The year is 1162. The Mongolian steppes stretch endlessly in every direction. Harsh, unforgiving, beautiful. You are born into a world where survival isn't guaranteed. It's earned. Every single day. Your father, Yasuji, is a tribal chief. Respected. Feared. He names you Temujin after an enemy warrior he just captured. Even your name is born from conflict. For 9 years, life feels normal. As normal as life can be when you're constantly moving, constantly fighting, constantly proving your worth. But then, your father dies, poisoned by rival Tatars at a feast. One moment he's there, strong and commanding. The next, he's writhing in agony, foam at his lips, life draining from his eyes. You watch your world collapse in real time. Your tribe abandons you immediately. Picture it. Women, children, left to starve on the steppes because a dead chief means no protection, no power, no future. Your mother, Holun, becomes everything. Mother, father, warrior. She hunts. She fights. She keeps you alive when the world wants you dead. But you're angry. So angry you can barely breathe. The rage builds inside you like a storm. And storms, my friend, are meant to destroy everything in their path. What would you do if everyone you trusted abandoned you when you needed them most? You're 17 now. Tall. Strong. Hungry for revenge. But you're not stupid. You know you can't survive alone. So you make alliances. Strategic ones. Your childhood friend Jamuka becomes your blood brother. You cut your palms. Mix your blood. Swear eternal loyalty under the eternal sky. Brothers in blood. Brothers in war. Together, you start building power. Tribe by tribe. Victory by victory. The forgotten boy begins to remember how to command. But here's what they don't teach you about power. It changes people. Or maybe it reveals who they really were all along. Jamuka grows jealous. He sees your growing influence and it eats at him. The other tribes start looking to you instead of him. They sense something different. Something dangerous. Something destined. The breaking point comes during a hunt. A simple disagreement about who killed which animal. But nothing is simple when pride and power are involved. Words become accusations. Accusations become threats. Threats become war. Your blood brother, the person you trusted most in this world, becomes your greatest enemy. The pain of that betrayal cuts deeper than any sword. But it also teaches you the most valuable lesson of your life. Trust is a luxury only the weak can afford. War with Jamuka is brutal, personal, vicious. He captures you. For months, you're his prisoner. A wooden collar locked around your neck like a dog. Every day, humiliation. Every night, planning. But pain has a way of forging steel from iron. One night, during a feast when your captors are drunk on fermented mare's milk, you strike. The collar breaks. Guards fall. You disappear into the darkness like a ghost. You don't just escape. You return with an army. The battles that follow are legendary. Brother against brother. Mongol against Mongol. The steppes run red with your blood. But you're learning. Every defeat teaches you something new. Every victory makes you stronger. You start using new tactics. Psychological warfare. You spare those who surrender. You promote based on merit, not birth. You unite tribes instead of just conquering them. Slowly, methodically, you're building something the world has never seen before. A unified Mongolia. The final battle with Jamuka comes at dawn. Your armies face each other across a valley that will decide the fate of your people. You can see him across the battlefield. Your former brother. Your greatest teacher. The charge begins. Thunder of hooves. Clash of steel. Screams of warriors. When the dust settles, Jamuka kneels before you. Defeated. Broken. He asks for an honorable death. As a blood brother, you grant it. But as you watch the life leave his eyes, you feel something die inside you too. From this moment on, you will trust only yourself. The year is 1206. You stand before the great assembly, the Kurultai. Every Mongol tribe represented. Every chief present. They proclaim you Genghis Khan, universal ruler. But you're not interested in just ruling Mongolia. You're interested in ruling everything. Imagine standing at the edge of the known world, looking out at empires that think they're untouchable. China with its Great Wall, Persia with its ancient cities, Europe with its stone castles. They have no idea what's coming. Your first target, the Western Xia dynasty, a test run for your new army. But this isn't the old way of war. You've revolutionized everything. Your warriors aren't just fighters. They're a machine. Each unit of 10 is perfectly coordinated. Communication systems that span thousands of miles. Siege weapons learned from Chinese engineers. You don't just conquer cities. You give them a choice. Surrender, and you live. Your culture survives. Your people thrive under Mongol protection. Resist, and face complete annihilation. Most choose surrender. Those who don't, well, their smoking ruins serve as warnings to the next city. But here's what makes you different from every conqueror before you. You adapt. You learn. You evolve. When you capture Chinese engineers, you put them to work. When you find Islamic scholars, you make them advisors. When you discover new technologies, you integrate them. You're not just building an empire. You're building the first truly global civilization. The Great Wall of China, that ancient symbol of Chinese power, crumbles before your forces like sand. Beijing falls. The Jin dynasty collapses. Millions bow before the Mongol banner. But this is just the beginning. What would it feel like to hold the fate of civilizations in your hands? You turn west. The Islamic world awaits. The Khwarezmid Empire controls everything from the Caspian Sea to the Persian Gulf. Wealthy, powerful, arrogant, their Shah makes a fatal mistake. He kills your trade envoys, your messengers, your ambassadors. You don't just want revenge. You want to send a message that will echo through history. What happens next will be talked about for centuries. Samarkand, Bukhara, Isfahan, ancient cities that have stood for thousands of years. Centers of learning, art, culture. You reduce them to ash. But it's not mindless destruction. It's calculated terror. Strategic genocide. You spare the artisans, the engineers, the scholars. Everyone else dies. Entire populations gone. The death toll numbers in the millions. Rivers literally run red with blood. Pyramids of human skulls mark your passage. But here's the thing, word spreads faster than your armies. Cities begin surrendering without a fight. Simply hearing the name Genghis Khan is enough to open gates and lower flags. You've weaponized fear itself. Your empire now stretches from Korea to the Caspian Sea, the largest contiguous land empire in human history. But you're not done. You're never done. Your generals want to invade Europe, India, Africa. You have the power to literally conquer the world. Standing at this moment, you are arguably the most powerful human being who has ever lived. One word from you can end dynasties. Another word can create them. What would absolute power feel like? But power, real power, comes with a price. Your sons fight each other for succession. The unity you built starts cracking. Your body, hardened by decades of war, begins to fail. Age is the one enemy you cannot conquer. You're in your 60s now, ancient for a Mongol warrior. The year is 1227. You're campaigning against the Western Xia, the same kingdom you conquered 20 years ago. They dared to rebel. Your final lesson to the world will be absolute. But during the siege, you fall from your horse. Internal injuries. Fever sets in. You know you're dying. Your final commands are brutal and brilliant. Complete destruction of the Western Xia. Every man, woman, and child. The kingdom will be erased so thoroughly that archaeologists today still struggle to find traces of it. Your burial must remain secret. No tomb, no marker, no way for enemies to desecrate your remains. As you lay dying, you think about the broken boy who started this journey, the outcast who became a god among men. You've conquered more land than Alexander, Caesar, and Napoleon combined. Your genetic legacy lives in 16 million people today. Your empire connected East and West for the first time in history. The Silk Road, global trade, cultural exchange, religious tolerance, merit-based promotion. These are your true victories. But what about the cost? The millions who died? The civilizations erased? You revolutionized warfare, created the first international postal system, established diplomatic immunity, promoted religious freedom. You also committed genocide on a scale the world wouldn't see again until the 20th century. Hero or monster? Revolutionary or destroyer? Perhaps you were both. Your death remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Some say you died from injuries. Others claim illness. A few whisper about assassination. Your body disappears forever. According to legend, everyone who witnessed your burial was killed. Even the soldiers who killed the witnesses were executed. You wanted to vanish completely, to become myth rather than man. And in a way, you succeeded. But your empire doesn't die with you. It evolves. Your grandsons will conquer Russia, destroy Baghdad, invade Europe and terrify kings. Kublai Khan will complete the conquest of China and establish the Yuan dynasty. Your descendants will rule from Hungary to Korea for over 150 years. The Mongol Empire becomes the largest contiguous land empire in human history. Nothing before or since has come close. But here's what's truly remarkable. You didn't just conquer the world. You connected it. The Pax Mongolica, the Mongol peace, creates the first global economy. Chinese silk reaches European markets. Islamic mathematics spreads to Asia. Technologies cross continents overnight. The Mongols invent the first international passport system. Establish religious tolerance as law. Create the most efficient communication network in history. Marco Polo's journey to China is only possible because of Mongol infrastructure. Without you, there's no Renaissance. No age of exploration. No global trade. You literally reshaped human civilization. But your greatest legacy isn't written in history books. It's written in DNA. Today, roughly 1 in every 200 men on Earth carries your genetic signature. 16 million direct descendants. Your bloodline has survived 800 years of wars, plagues, and revolutions. Biologically speaking, you achieved a form of immortality. Every time someone talks about changing the world, they're talking about doing what you did. Starting with nothing. Facing impossible odds. Refusing to accept limitations. You were born into a world that discarded you, and you remade that world in your image. From broken boy to universal ruler. From tribal outcast to genetic immortal. Your name is still whispered in Mongolia. Still feared in China. Still studied in military academies worldwide. You proved that one person with enough will and vision can literally change the course of human history. The question is, what will you do with that knowledge? Your story ended in 1227, but the story you inspired, that story is still being written. By dreamers, by conquerors, by anyone who refuses to accept the world as it is. You were Genghis Khan, the storm that remade the world. And storms, once they begin, never truly end. They just find new forms, new directions, new ways to change everything. The eternal sky that you worshipped still watches over the steppes, still waits for the next storm to rise. Perhaps it's waiting for you,